For the fourth mistake, which is the cardinal sin of after the first date mistakes for men. Dun, 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 dun. Hi! Today we're talking about the top 4 mistakes men make after a first date. A lot of men are a little confused about why they may not get the second date, how to ace a second date, but even how to get there to begin with. Mm-hmm. So these are the top 4 mistakes that we've seen can really just kill a second date. The first mistake is love bombing. If you don't know what love bombing is, it is giving too much attention, too much, all of the time, way before she is ready to receive that kind of attention. So the relationship has not reached a level where you should be in communication all the time, and yet you are talking to her all the time and reaching out.
Love bombing is just showering her with compliments like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Or after that first date, if she gets a barrage of texts of complimenting, wow, you looked so amazing last night. Wow, you smelled so good last night too. Your hair is just amazing. So over texting, over complimenting, talking about the future prematurely right after you've literally just been on a first date definitely qualifies as love bombing.
Right. Also could be calling too much.
If you're giving her a call at 10 a.m. the next day saying, hey, how's it going? After you've just been on a date with her, it's too much too soon. Okay.
Exactly. You want to take things slowly. You want to let it build naturally. So love bombing is too much. And we've actually done another video called The 4 Signs That You're Dating a Narcissist.
It's so good. It talks about love bombing, and it gives an amazing example of a bachelorette who was love bombed aggressively. So definitely be sure to check out that video.
Mistake number 2 is not enough attention. This is the polar opposite of mistake number 1.
Yes, the pendulum has swung from mistake number 1, which is love bombing, to the total opposite of not enough attention.
Exactly. And that means a man who may just be not needing to communicate as much with women and doesn't text her at all, maybe text her a little bit. We actually had set up a bachelor who had an amazing time on a date with one of our bachelorettes, and she did too. We got glowing feedback from both. But he wrote to us a few days later saying, I haven't heard from her. And it was just crickets in our office.
He said, yeah, an amazing time. I just haven't heard from her. Sweetie, what did you expect? All right? So as a man, if you're the masculine, if you're the man in the relationship, it is your job to follow up if you've had an amazing time and if you want to go on a second date. So yes, I know it's all about, I didn't know if she was into... It doesn't matter. It is up to you to send that text the next day to say, hey, I had such an awesome time. I'd love to see you again. Are you free on Friday?
Right. Or I'll give you a call this week to plan something.
Absolutely.
However you want to do it, make sure you establish some kind of communication and connection with her the next day, and then take it from there. It doesn't have to be, obviously, it's not the love bombing way, but you want it to be something that she feels comfortable and confident that you had a great time, that you want to see her again, and that you're starting to think about next date.
And I think that for a lot of guys, they don't want to come off as too eager, so that's why they're like, oh yeah, man, I'm just going to wait a couple days to write to her. No, like if you're into her, you need to let her know the next day, I had an awesome time, would love to see you again, because in her mind, if she doesn't hear from you, she's saying, okay, that was a nice date, and now she's thinking of all the reasons why it wasn't great, why you're not the person for her. She's mourning your death. She's moving on.
She's getting defensive
she's getting defensive. Yeah. She's saying, oh, okay, well, I had a nice time, but it wasn't that great. And then she finally hears from you, and she's like, oh, well, whatever, I already wrote him off.
Right.
So let's nip this in the bud. The day after you have an awesome date, wait until midday, send her a text, hey, I had an awesome time with you, would love to see you again, are you available Friday? Or, hey, I had an awesome time, are you free for a phone call tomorrow? that's great. That will set you up for success.
Exactly.
But don't wait for her to reach out to you.
No. And
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And it also takes more courage and bravery to actually be that person who you are, be that leader to reach out to her. So now let's do a little review. Mistake number 1 is love bombing. Mistake number 2 is not giving her enough attention. Mistake number 3 is being a pen pal.
This is the worst because I feel like pen pal guys have really good intentions, but they're missing out on relationships because they literally fall into the pen pal category. They're taking 70% of our advice of reaching out to her the next day, making sure you're in contact with her, communicating with her, but they're not going that extra 30% of actually setting up another date.
Right. Being the planner, being a man with a plan.
There's nothing sexier than a man with a plan.
Exactly. And then to create this plan, we recommend on the first date being a little investigator and trying to go on a treasure hunt where you're listening to what she has to say, listening to her interests, and thinking about, oh, this would be a really great second date to bring her on. Thinking of something creative, having that already made up in your mind before you talk to her about what the second date will be so that she can get really excited about it and say, oh wow, how thoughtful.
Absolutely.
This will put you a cut above the rest.
Mm-hmm. And it's also really great that when you're on that first date, when you're talking to her about her hobbies and interests, maybe she loves hiking, of being like, oh my God, that would be awesome. Like, let's go to the Bronson Caves.
Right.
Because that is such a cool place that I've wanted to go. We'll do that for the next date. So even just affirming like, oh yeah, let's do that. That would be awesome. So she then is like, oh yeah, he wants to go on a second date with me. That's great. But then it's actually following through and planning that date. Right. Texting should only be used to keep in touch until your next date. So texting, you shouldn't be having like these emotional, heartfelt conversations via text. It should be to keep in touch, to share funny things that happen through the day. It shouldn't be to build a relationship. No. You're not building a relationship over text. You're building a relationship through physical dates. So pen pals, I get it. You have good intentions, but you gotta get out of that pen pal zone. You gotta get on that next date. You have to plan the next date because that spark will fade.
Exactly.
Unless you do.
And some other man is going to swoop in.
Absolutely.
That's what's going to happen. And you might not even realize that this woman was actually perfect for you. You might be a little on the fence about her. See her again.
See her again.
Even if you're on the fence, see her again.
Talking via text is not gonna help you discover or discern if this is your future wife. The only way that you're going to be able to discern that is going on an additional date with her and spending physical time with her.
Mm-hmm. Now for the fourth mistake, which is the cardinal sin of after the first date mistakes for men. Dun, 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 dun. And this is getting sexual. Getting sexual manifests itself in many ways, not just the actual act of being sexual and inviting her over to your place, even though you should not do that to begin with. But it starts with your behavior on the actual date.
Making dirty jokes.
Right.
Oh. Because here's the thing. I think with dirty jokes, like sometimes a guy will meet a girl who has a great sense of humor.
Right.
So they'll take it just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Even if she's maybe made some kind of funny, lighthearted sexual innuendo.
Right.
Guys, don't do
go there.
it. Don't go there. Don't go there. Because yes, is it a double standard? Absolutely. Just don't go there because she'll hear that and she'll say, oh, okay, he's just trying to sleep with me. Okay? So even, because I've seen really good guys who actually have wanted relationships, but they just get sexual because they think, oh, she can take it. Like I'm just, I'm just playing around with her. She can handle it. It's funny. She has a great dirty sense of humor just like me.
No, this is not the locker room.
Yes.
You're not talking with your other guy friends.
Yeah, this is a woman.
This is a woman who you're thinking of for a potential girlfriend for you.
And she'll categorize you in the wrong way.
It's true.
just don't. It's a no-go.
Exactly.
Don't go there. Okay?
Exactly. And then also your behavior on the date, meaning your physical signs that you're showing her. Obviously, some touching is totally appropriate. We'll have a whole video on that and what are appropriate areas for physical touch and body language during a date. However,
excessive touching, petting, groping of any kind. If you don't ever want to go on a second date with her or even another woman, because this could literally put you in jail for sexual assault,
true.
Just don't do it.
We were actually date coaching a bachelorette who told us about, lovely bachelorette, who told us about this date that she went on. It was in Beverly Hills. It was in a lovely restaurant where she was all dolled up and he was wearing a suit. She just felt like gold on this date. But he started getting a little comfortable. And by a little, I mean too comfortable. He was just touching her way too much, and she started to feel like, okay, this is not going in a good place. I don't know this man.
It's just inappropriate.
It is.
Like touching somebody that you're just meeting for the first time. I don't care if physical touch is your love language. You need to couch that, buddy.
Right, exactly.
In the getting sexual category, another huge mistake that guys make is inviting a woman to their place for a second date. So even if you have wonderful intentions, even if your intention is not just to hook up with her, a lot of women in this current time of the 2000s, when a guy invites a woman over to his place, a lot of times a woman's brain will go, oh, he's looking to hook up with me. So it's important to separate yourself from that pack of the normal things that she's maybe experienced that have turned her off. And instead of suggesting a date at your apartment, to suggest a date that's outdoors, that's surrounded by people, other human beings, so that her brain doesn't go to that place of thinking that you just want to hook up with her.
Right. And not all women will automatically assume that. And I don't want you to think that just because she says yes to a date at your apartment, that means she's going to sleep with you, because that's not what you should assume from that at all. Even if it is a movie night, you should not assume that at all. But we highly recommend getting to know each other in public places so that you can really get to know each other and it doesn't get awkward.
So even if you do have pure intentions of trying to get to know her for a potential relationship, if you try to sleep with a woman too soon, and if you invite her back up to your place after the first date, or even like after the second date with the intention of sleeping together, even if you have good intentions of wanting to marry her or date her or whatever, it is really detrimental. Don't try to sleep with her, because she'll then put you in the category of men who are just trying to sleep with her, and that's not a category that you want to be in.
And even if she doesn't, it's too much, too soon.
TMTS, too much, too soon.
Okay, great. So now let's do a recap of the 4 top mistakes that men make after the first date. The first is love bombing. The second is not enough attention.
The third is being a pen pal. And the fourth is getting sexual.
Hopefully these have helped you. I know that they will. We've seen amazing success with men who have learned from these mistakes, or just learned from us and learned that these are things to avoid when wanting to get a second date with a woman who they like. So definitely take these to heart and let us know if you have any questions, any other further clarification. Write them in the comment section below. We are so happy to help. We know you guys are amazing and have great intentions and want to learn and want to make a woman feel wonderful. So
if you're watching this video, you're already leaps and bounds over so many other men who are just kind of trying to go about dating. Like, you are already, we know you have good intentions, and we thank you for that. On behalf of women, we thank you.
We do. So we're here for you. Please let us know how we can be of more assistance in your search for the perfect woman for you.
Be sure to subscribe below and go to matchmakersinthecity.com to learn how to be matched by one of us or one of our matchmakers. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Bye.